Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Tanvi Taneja, and with me is VC Pramod with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate virtually 3 high-end COVID-19 testing labs in Noida, Mumbai and Kolkata at 4:30 p.m. today. Recovery from COVID-19 surpasses 9 lakh mark. Record 5,15,000 coronavirus samples tests in a day. First 5 Rafale fighter jets take off from France to reach India on Wednesday. 47 Chinese clone apps banned in the country. Flood situation remains grim in Assam and Bihar. NDRF and SDRF carrying out relief and rescue operations. And nation remembers former President Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam on his death anniversary today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will today launch high-throughput COVID-19 testing facilities through video conferencing. These facilities will ramp up the testing capacity in the country and help in strengthening early detection and treatment, thus assisting in controlling the spread of the pandemic. Our correspondent reports that these 3 testing facilities have been set up strategically at ICMR National Institute of Cancer Prevention and Research, Noida, ICMR National Institute for Research in Reproductive Health, Mumbai, and ICMR National Institute of Cholera and Enteric Diseases, Kolkata.
The government has adopted the Test, Track, Treat strategy for early detection and containment of the COVID-19 pandemic. These 3 new testing facilities have been set up in Noida, Mumbai and Kolkata, and they will be able to test over 10,000 samples a day. These labs will also reduce turnaround time and exposure of lab personnel to infectious clinical materials. The labs are enabled to test diseases other than COVID as well. Post the pandemic, the labs will be able to test for hepatitis B and C, HIV, TB and dengue. With Dipendra Kumar, Suparna Saikia, AIR News, Delhi.
Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan, along with the Chief Ministers of Maharashtra, West Bengal and Uttar Pradesh, will participate in the event. Mumbai will also be the beneficiary of the high-throughput COVID-19 testing facility, which will be launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi via video conferencing today. The facility in Mumbai has been set up strategically by ICMR and National Institute for Research in Reproductive Health and is expected to ramp up the testing capacity to almost 1,000 samples per day. Details from our Mumbai correspondent.
The Indian Council of Medical Research and National Institute for Research in Reproductive Health, Mumbai, has installed high-level COVID testing facility institute located at Parel. Dr. Smita Mahale, Director, National Institute for Research Reproductive Health, Mumbai, said in order to increase the COVID testing facility, this step has been taken. The machine is fully automatic and is based on TCR testing platform. She said this will definitely reduce the risk of the infection among laboratory staff as it can be operated with limited human intervention. The result can be monitored through remote user interface by reporting scientists. This facility will help in early detection, treatment and controlling the spread of the pandemic. Kunal Shinde, AIR News, Mumbai.
Total recoveries from COVID-19 today surpassed the 9 lakh mark. With this, recovery rate stands at 63.92% in the country. The case fatality rate has further declined to 2.28% in the country. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry today said a total of 9,17,568 people have recovered in India so far, and 31,991 recoveries have been reported in the past 24 hours. The Health Ministry said highest 49,931 new cases of COVID-19 have been registered in the country in one day, taking the total number of cases to 14,35,453. Presently, the total number of active corona cases in the country is 4,85,114. In a single day, 708 deaths have been reported, taking the nationwide toll to 32,771. Our correspondent reports that Delhi stands at the top position with 87.95% recovery rate. Ladakh, Haryana, Telangana and Assam are the other top performing states and union territories, wherein the recovery rate is above 74%. 17 states and union territories have better recovery rates than the national average of 63.92%. The maximum number of people have recovered in Maharashtra, followed by Tamil Nadu, Delhi and Andhra Pradesh. In terms of fatality rate, there are 29 states and union territories which have lower fatality rates than the national average. In the total active cases, 68.83% caseloads are from Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh.
India achieved a remarkable feat today by performing more than 5 lakh tests of coronavirus samples in one day. Indian Council of Medical Research said that a record 5,15,472 tests of coronavirus samples were conducted by the various laboratories within 24 hours. More than 1 crore 68 lakh tests have been conducted in the country so far. Starting from less than 100 tests per day, a multiple-fold increase in a few months was made possible by dedicated teams of research institutions, medical colleges, testing laboratories, ministries, airlines and postal services. More from our correspondent.
Government has created robust health infrastructure for effective management of COVID-19 pandemic within a short span. The central government, in collaboration with the states and union territories government, adopted the strategy of aggressive testing, tracking and treatment to deal with coronavirus crisis. In January this year, there was only one testing laboratory for COVID-19 in India. Now, more than 1,300 government and private laboratories chains are conducting tests for coronavirus samples across the country. ICMR is continuously ramping up its testing capabilities by approving new laboratories, RT-PCR kits, TrueNet test, CBNet test and rapid antigen test kits. Besides, a dedicated network of health facilities have also been operationalized to provide best treatment to the patients affected with coronavirus. Across the country, around 15,000 dedicated COVID hospitals, healthcare centers and COVID care centers are providing treatment to the COVID patients. These hospitals and centers have the capacity of around 46,000 ICU beds. Around 22,000 ventilators have been deployed in the hospitals in all the states and union territories. In the last few months, India has become self-reliant in the production of PPE kits and N95 masks. Bhupendra Singh, AR News, Delhi.
The central government has said that sufficient number of beds are available in its hospitals in Delhi for COVID-19 patients. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry, in a series of tweets today, said that the results of centre's effective intervention in managing COVID-19 situation in Delhi are visible in the number of COVID beds available in 3 central government hospitals and AIIMS. The ministry informed that 404 out of 529 beds are vacant in Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia, Safdarjung Hospital and Lady Hardinge Medical College. In AIIMS Delhi, 1,283 beds are vacant against a total strength of 1,515 COVID beds. More from our correspondent.
Effective planning and intervention of the central government have shown increasing result in improving the COVID-19 situation in Delhi. Last month, when Delhi's condition worsened due to increasing number of cases, the central government stepped in and prepared effective plan for improving the situation. The centre directed the government agencies to ramp up the testing and treatment facilities in the national capital. Within a few days, one of the largest COVID care centers in the world was set up in South Delhi. This Sardar Patel COVID Care Center has the capacity of 10,000 beds for COVID patients. In the last 1 month, testing of coronavirus samples have increased threefold and so far around 9,50,000 tests have been conducted in the city. Due to collective efforts of the central and Delhi governments, the city now stands at the top of the recovery rate with 87.95%. With Bhupendra, Divakar, AR News, Delhi.
In Meghalaya, 19 new cases of COVID were reported this morning, taking the total number of active cases to 543. The Directorate of Health Services informed that out of the 19 new cases, 17 are from East Khasi Hills district, which includes 15 civilians, 1 BSF personnel and 1 armed force personnel, and the remaining 2 are from East Jaintia Hills and West Jaintia Hills district respectively. 38 COVID patients from East Khasi Hills also recovered, taking the total number of recovered persons in the state to 173. Among those 38 people, 26 are from BSF personnel and 12 are civilians. So far, East Khasi Hills district ranks the highest in the state with 441 active cases in the state, followed by Ribhoi district with 50 cases. In Nagaland, 45 new cases of COVID-19 have been detected this morning. Health and Family Welfare Minister S. Phangnuform in a tweet said out of 335 test results received, 23 have been detected positive from Kohima, 14 in Dimapur and 8 from Mon. The state has registered a total confirmed positive caseload of 1,384, out of which 831 are active, while 4 have lost their lives so far. Meanwhile, 8 more patients recovered from COVID-19 yesterday, taking the total recovered cases to 549. In Tripura, COVID-19 has claimed 2 more lives yesterday, taking the total COVID-related death toll to 13 in the state. So far, the state has registered 3,883 number of positive cases in the state, while 2,336 have recovered. Currently, the state has 1,517 active cases. The positivity rate of the state stands at 2.85%, tests per million at 34,124, while the recovery rate stands at 60.44% and mortality rate at 0.29%.
In Gujarat, a 1,200-bed dedicated COVID-19 hospital in Ahmedabad Civil Hospital has served hundreds of patients since the beginning of coronavirus pandemic. AIR Ahmedabad correspondent reports that 21 nurses of the Purple Brigade team are working 24/7 as infection control nurse in this dedicated COVID hospital. More from our Ahmedabad correspondent.
To prevent the infection from one patient to another in 1200-bed dedicated COVID-19 hospital, Ahmedabad Civil Hospital has created the Purple Brigade team of 21 nurses. These nurses are working as infection control engineers in dedicated COVID hospital round the clock. Dr. Sanjay Kapadia, the resident medical officer of this dedicated COVID hospital, said that these nurses are taking care of patients right from their admit to discharge during the 3 shifts. Superintendent of Nursing Staff, B.K. Prajapati, said that this Purple Brigade also performs monitoring and surveillance work in general and ICU wards. All these efforts helped in improving the health of patients and recovery rate. Yogesh Pandya, AR News, Ahmedabad.
The Rajasthan government has decided to provide life-saving injection tocilizumab and plasma therapy to serious corona patients in the state. Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot directed to promote plasma therapy in the treatment of corona and to organize plasma donation camps across the state. More from our correspondent.
The number of active patients in the state has reached about 10,000 today. More than 1,100 people are being tested positive in the state daily. For the last 3 days, 631 people have died due to infection so far. Hundreds of workers have found infected in Bhiwadi industrial area of Alwar district, after which additional medical teams have been deployed there. However, the state government has also increased the testing facility and more than 25,000 samples are being tested every day. A total of more than 14 lakh samples have been tested so far in the state. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
In Telangana state, COVID-19 cases have reached close to 55,000 with 1,593 new coronavirus positive cases reported. Our correspondent reports that the government is now focusing on increasing tests in districts and revamping testing capacities at the district and area hospitals. A report.
While the state capital Hyderabad and its municipal corporation area is accounting maximum COVID cases in Telangana, the adjoining districts like Rangareddy and Medchal Malkasgiri are reporting high prevalence of the virus infections. The State Medical and Health Department has taken up rapid antigen tests at 320 centers across the state to step up testing for COVID-19. Meanwhile, Hyderabad Mayor Buntu Ram Mohan has been tested positive for coronavirus and asked all his staff and those who came into contact with him to be vigilant about COVID symptoms. Lakshmi, AR News, Hyderabad.
Karnataka is ramping up its efforts to increase the number of COVID tests. The state has detected a total of 96,141 positive COVID cases till now. More from our correspondent.
The COVID war room is keeping a watch on tests conducted across the state. Special attention is given to containment zones where the testing is expanded. All primary health centers are getting trained in getting the throat swabs for testing. The booth-level task force have tied up with NGOs and resident welfare associations to identify pockets where tests are needed. In Bengaluru alone, the aim is to conduct 50,000 rapid antigen tests. In the last 7 days, the positivity rate is 15.3% and the cases are doubling at 12 days. The state recovery rate at 37% is another issue needing attention. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
In our series Experts Speak on All India Radio, we bring you the views of leading medical experts on COVID-19. Talking to AIR News, Director AIIMS Delhi, Dr. Randeep Guleria, advised people to aggressively follow social distancing and hand hygiene norms to check the spread of COVID-19 infection.
Regular hand washing should be done. So those who in an area where there is coronavirus infection should wash their hands regularly. You should avoid going to crowded places because if someone in the crowd is coughing and has the infection, he can spread to others in the crowded places. And if any member in your family has fever, cough, cold, he should stay at home and avoid going out so that he doesn't spread the infection to other people in the community.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate virtually 3 high-end COVID-19 testing labs in Noida, Mumbai and Kolkata at 4:30 p.m. today. Recovery from COVID-19 surpasses 9 lakh mark. Record 5,15,000 coronavirus samples tests in a day. First 5 Rafale fighter jets take off from France to reach India on Wednesday. 47 Chinese clone apps banned in the country. Flood situation remains grim in Assam and Bihar. NDRF and SDRF carrying out relief and rescue operations. Nation remembers former President Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam on his death anniversary today. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
The first batch of 5 Rafale jets flew out of France a few hours before and will arrive in India on Wednesday. The fighter jets will be officially inducted and join the Indian Air Force fleet in Haryana's Ambala on July 29th. The fighter jets, built by French aviation firm Dassault, took off from the Marignac Air Base in southern France's Bordeaux. The 5 aircraft will be the first tranche of the 36 planes bought by India from France in a 59,000 crore rupees intergovernmental deal in 2016. The Rafale aircraft will cover a distance of nearly 7,000 kilometers from France to India with air-to-air refueling and a single stop at a French air base in the United Arab Emirates, UAE. The Indian Embassy in France in a statement said the delivery of 10 aircraft has been completed on schedule, but 5 will stay back in France for training mission. The delivery of all 36 aircraft will be completed on schedule by the end of 2021. Delivery of 10 Rafale aircraft have been completed on schedule. First Rafale fighter jet was handed over to India in October 2019. A report.
The Rafale fighter jets are capable of carrying a range of highly effective weapons, including the Meter air-to-air missile and Scalp cruise missile. The Rafale jets will come with various India-specific modifications, including Israeli helmet-mounted displays, radar warning receivers, low-band jammers, and 10-hour flight data recording. The Air Force has readied the required infrastructure to welcome the jets in its lineup. Saubhagyakar, AIR News, Delhi.
The government has banned 47 more Chinese apps. Earlier, it had banned 59 China-based apps on the grounds of national security and data privacy. Official sources said these 47 apps are clones of the previously banned Chinese apps. Last month, the government had banned Chinese apps including TikTok Lite and Hello Lite.
The Supreme Court today allowed Rajasthan Assembly Speaker to withdraw his appeal against the High Court's order asking him to defer the disqualification proceedings till July 24th against sacked Deputy Chief Minister Sachin Pilot and 18 dissident Congress MLAs. Senior advocate Kapil Sibal, appearing for Speaker C.P. Joshi, told a bench headed by Justice Arun Mishra that the Rajasthan High Court had passed a fresh order on Friday and they were weighing the legal options. While withdrawing the plea, Sibal told the bench, also comprising Justices B.R. Gavai and Krishna Murari, that the appeal had become infructuous as the apex court did not stay the earlier High Court order passed last Tuesday, asking the Speaker to defer the disqualification proceedings till Friday. The High Court on Friday had ordered status quo on the disqualification notice issued by the Speaker to 19 dissident Congress MLAs, including Pilot. The apex court had on Thursday refused to restrain the High Court from passing an order on a plea by Pilot and 18 other legislators challenging the disqualification notice against them. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has paid tributes to former President Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam on his death anniversary today. In a series of tweets, Mr. Naidu said Dr. Kalam was an outstanding scientist, a great human being and a people's president who inspired the people of the country, particularly the youth, through his actions and words. Vice President said Dr. Kalam's contributions to nation building will always be remembered. Home Minister Amit Shah has also paid tributes to former President Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam on his death anniversary. Mr. Shah described Dr. Kalam as an epitome of intellect, wisdom and simplicity. In a tweet, Mr. Shah said Dr. Kalam was a people's president who left indelible marks on several fields ranging from science to politics. He said Dr. Kalam's relentless quest for knowledge continues to inspire and capture the idea of self-reliant India.
In Jharkhand, more than 1,600 women of Naxal-affected villages under Bishunpur block of Gumla district are turning self-sufficient by cultivating new crops and adopting novel methods of plantation of lemongrass with the help of self-help groups. Not only these women groups are earning through lemongrass cultivation, they've also been extracting oil from 2 plants established by the self-help groups to yield around 1,000 to 1,500 rupees from the oil extracts of lemongrass, which is in high demand during the pandemic times.
बाहर से जो आए थे लेमन ग्रास खेती करने के लिए, जैसे कि हम लोग को बताए कहीं पे, इसके बाद में हम लोग को पता चला कि इसमें कितना कमाई होता है और कैसे इसका फायदा उठाया जाए, कि लेमन ग्रास खेती करने के बाद में कितना फायदा हुआ और कितना हम लोग को मिला पैसा, और इसका लेमन ग्रास का पत्ता से भी हम लोग तेल निकाले, उसका भी हम लोग को फायदा हुआ.
Hailing from these dense Naxal-affected areas, now the new farming methodology adopted by locals have stopped migration of people from this region, while women of these villages have also realized their responsibility towards society and the nation. Bangladesh has debunked claims that it is warming up to Pakistan in its diplomatic relations and moving closer to China. In a discussion carried out on a private TV channel in Bangladesh on Sunday, the Foreign Minister of Bangladesh, Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen, asked Pakistan to accept the responsibility of carrying out genocide in Bangladesh in its pre-liberation days if it wants the ties between the two countries to improve. He said the genocide before liberation of Bangladesh in 1971 was still a painful memory for people of Bangladesh. Recalling the close ties with India, Dr. Momen recalled the history of the liberation war of Bangladesh, in which India played a crucial role. He said in those days the chant of Joy Bangla by freedom fighters of Bangladesh who had taken shelter in India was enough to get them all the logistical and other support required. He said the deep relationship between Bangladesh and India cannot be forgotten at any cost at any point of time. The historic relationship forged during those days has now reached its golden period, Sonali Adhyay, under the leadership of Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He said Bangladesh believed in maintaining cordial relations with all as envisaged by its founding father Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. More from our Dhaka correspondent.
Laying to rest the speculation that Bangladesh is moving closer to Pakistan and China, Bangladesh has made it clear that Pakistan must accept the blame for genocide in Bangladesh, which led to the killing of over 3 million people in the pre-liberation days of the country before its relations with Bangladesh could improve. Foreign Minister of Bangladesh, Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen, pointed out that Bangladesh believed in friendly relations with all. He said Bangladesh has deep historic ties with India which can never be forgotten, while China is its recent development partner. Rajesh Jha, AIR News, Dhaka.
India and Indonesia today discussed important issues pertaining to defence and mutual cooperation. Defence Minister of Indonesia, General Prabowo Subianto, who is on a visit to India, held talks with Defence Minister Rajnath Singh in New Delhi. During the talks, the two leaders exchanged views on several bilateral and regional issues. Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat, 3 service chiefs and others were also present on the occasion. The Madras High Court has asked the centre to constitute a committee for providing reservation for OBC candidates in central quota medical seats. In its verdict today, the first bench, led by Chief Justice A.P. Sahi, said there is no legal or constitutional bar against providing reservation for the OBCs in the All India quota seats in institutions being not run by the centre. It has asked the Tamil Nadu Health Secretary also to be a part of this committee.
In Assam, the flood situation has further improved today as the number of affected districts reduced to 22. Yesterday, 25 districts were submerged in flood. Official sources said that 24 lakh people are still affected in the third wave of floods in the state. Chief Minister Sarbanand Sonowal has undertaken a 4-day visit to assess the flood situation in Upper Assam districts, including Majuli. Mr. Sonowal will meet flood-affected people and also hold meetings with the administration. A report from our correspondent.
Relief measures are being intensified at flood-affected districts by the administration. Rice, pulses, mustard oil, salt and drinking water are being given regularly. 46,000 people are staying at relief camps. The camp inmates are being given all facilities prescribed by the Assam government. Medical teams are also deployed at relief camps as well as other flood-affected areas. Emphasis is being given by the Education Department to provide online classes to those students staying at relief camps. Assam Chief Secretary Kumar Sanjay Krishna assured there is no doubt of funds to help flood-affected people. Manas Pratim Sharma, AR News, Guwahati.
In Bihar, flood fury continues in 11 districts. Breaching of embankments in East Champaran and Darbhanga has further aggravated the situation. Fresh areas of East Champaran have been engulfed following breach of Gandak embankment near Lehlatpur in Tetaria block in the district. The swirling water from Kamla Balan has inundated scores of new villages in Kewati block of Darbhanga after breaching of Dumri Gutli embankments in the block. Vehicular traffic on Darbhanga, Jayanagar and Darbhanga Samastipur roads has been halted as the roads are covered with heavy sheets of water. Rail traffic on Darbhanga, Samastipur and Muzaffarpur Narkatiyaganj rail section of the East Central Railway remains suspended on the 4th consecutive day today due to overtopping of rail tracks at several places. Met Department predicts heavy rainfall in catchment areas of Nepal and various rivers including Gandak, Bagmati and Kamla Balan. Over 15 lakh people spread over 625 panchayats in 11 districts are reeling under the impact of flood.
Now let us take a look at today's weather forecast. National capital Delhi may experience generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Minimum temperature was recorded at 28 degrees Celsius and maximum is expected to be around 37 degrees. Mumbai will have a generally cloudy sky with heavy rain. The city had a minimum temperature of 25 degrees Celsius and will have a maximum of around 33 degrees. In Chennai, the temperature will hover between 26 and 36 degrees Celsius. The city will have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Kolkata will have partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. The city recorded a minimum temperature of 28 degrees Celsius while the maximum temperature will be nearly 36 degrees. In Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature was 27 degrees Celsius in Jammu while maximum will be 35 degrees there. The city is likely to have partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. In Srinagar, the temperature will hover between 20 and 30 degrees Celsius. The city is expected to see mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Leh Ladakh will also have mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. The temperature will hover between 15 and 28 degrees Celsius. In Gilgit, the minimum temperature was recorded at 19 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 32 degrees. It is expected to have mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Muzaffarabad may witness partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. The place witnessed a minimum temperature of 25 degrees Celsius, while maximum temperature will be around 35 degrees. Chandigarh will see generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. The minimum temperature was recorded at 29 degrees Celsius and maximum maximum temperature will be around 34 degrees. In Hyderabad, rain or thunder showers would occur towards evening or night. The minimum temperature was 24 degrees Celsius, while maximum will be around 34 degrees. Bengaluru experienced a minimum temperature of 20 degrees and the maximum is expected at 29 degrees. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate virtually 3 high-end COVID-19 testing labs in Noida, Mumbai and Kolkata at 4:30 p.m. today. Recovery from COVID-19 surpasses 9 lakh mark, record 5,15,000 coronavirus samples tests in a day. First 5 Rafale fighter jets take off from France to reach India on Wednesday. 47 Chinese clone apps banned in the country. Flood situation remains grim in Assam and Bihar. NDRF and SDRF carrying out relief and rescue operations. And nation remembers former President Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam on his death anniversary today. And with that, we end the Midday News.